guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mary Jucel, and for today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I conceal my under eye area. For me personally, underneath my eyes is like the most problematic part of my entire face. I find that I have like the worst of the worst when it comes to my under eye area because I have dark circles, I have heavy eye bags, and I am developing some fine lines like right in this area. So it makes it a little bit difficult for me to achieve flawless under eye coverage, but I always play around with different concealers, different techniques, and I finally have a technique that I have been using for about a year now, and I'm ready to share it with you guys because I love it, and I know my best friend, Catherine, I'm actually making this video for her, she always compliments me on my under eye area saying how good it looks and how she can't even tell that I have dark circles. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I use, the technique that I use, and yeah, all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do when you want to have flawless under eye coverage is to apply an eye cream. I have been using Belif, which is a moisturizing and firming eye cream for over a year now, and I absolutely love it. I found that this eye cream is quite moisturizing, and that's exactly what you need when you want flawless under eye coverage. Because I do have some fine lines right underneath here, it's super beneficial for my under eyes to get the moisturizing eye cream because it just plumps up that fine lines, and also it just makes the fine lines less noticeable. And most importantly, it's super crucial, I can't say enough how crucial it is to use an eye cream prior to applying concealer and all that stuff, because it's going to help all that concealer and all the products you use underneath your eyes sit really nice, and it's gonna help prevent it from creasing. So it is worth the money to spend on an eye cream and to use it. So what I have on my face right now is foundation. I've done my eyebrows, a little bit of my eye makeup, and applied some false lashes. I did apply this off camera. You want to apply this with your ring finger. So what I would do is just take a little bit of the product right here and just tap it along underneath my eyes. And I give myself about like a minute or so for the eye cream to really sink in underneath my eyes before I move on and actually put on my concealer. So if you have an issue with your under eye circles and you're finding that no matter how much concealer you put on, you can still notice the darkness underneath your eyes, the problem probably is that you are not using a corrector. So a color corrector is super crucial. I'm probably gonna say that about every product that I talk about, but it really is. A color corrector is just a game changer for your under eye circles. Typically most people underneath their eyes have like a brownish, bluish discoloration underneath your eye. So what's going to work best for you is something of like a peachy undertone. So I have the Sephora Bright Future Color Corrector in the shade Melon, and I picked this one up because it's a little bit darker than the shade Peach, and I feel like because I have more of a medium olivey skin tone, it works for me better. So if you are a lighter skin tone, if you have a lighter skin tone than me, like talking to my friend Catherine, she probably will benefit from a peach undertone, a peach corrector. And if you're on a fairer side, you'd probably benefit from the pink corrector. But the color corrector is super crucial, guys. You are going to need this, and once you start using it, you're gonna find that this stuff is such a game changer. And this particular product, I absolutely freaking love. I've used this for over a year now. It is incredibly creamy, super easy to blend, and hydrating underneath the eyes. And it just freaking works. And it's only $14 at Sephora, so it's kind of amazing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna dot it underneath my eye, right here, just a little bit. I don't like to put too much corrector because like I said, this particular product is super pigmented that if you put a lot, it can easily look too much. And I'm gonna just use my ring finger and I'm just gonna pat it in. So just a quick tip, you always want to just tap and dab when you're applying concealer underneath your eyes, because if you tap and like rub it like this or swipe it across your under eye, you're basically just moving product and taking product away. So when you're tapping and dabbing, you are basically pushing that product into your skin. so that it really blends into your skin. And it's gonna give you a better finish for sure. So the next step will be concealing. I have tried a lot of different full coverage concealers, and for me, I need absolutely full coverage for me to be fully satisfied with my under eye area. So I will list down a bunch of products a bunch of concealers that I love down below if you're interested in trying them. But if you just wanna go and try out my absolute favorite, this is the one I have been using, this is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Medium. So this concealer is super popular in the beauty community. A lot of bloggers love it. It's full coverage, it's amazing, and I have to agree, the hype is super real. So this is absolutely full coverage, and it's not drying underneath the eyes, which are two things I look for when I'm looking for an under eye concealer. So with my under eye concealer, the shade that I typically will pick up is a shade that is closer to the overall skin tone of the rest of my face. I find that when I use a concealer that's closer to the rest of my skin tone, it's going to hide the dark circles a lot better. It may not necessarily give me the best brightening effect, but don't worry, I'm gonna show you how exactly I achieve the whole brightening and awaken look. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. And this is a full coverage concealer, and it comes with a really big doe foot applicator. And what I do is I just add a little bit of the product at a time. So I'm just gonna take a little dab here and a dab here, because it is quite full coverage. I will do the same thing when I'm applying it, which is using my ring finger, and I'm gonna just tap in that product, bringing it up to the inner corner and out. So even this one is not 100% my skin tone, but the shade above medium, I forget what it is, it was way too dark, and so this actually works nicely, and it has a bit of like a peachy undertone to it, so it again helps with canceling out the darkness. So I always go in with my ring finger first to do the initial blending. Then I go in with my pointed foundation brush. This brush is from Japanesque. I freaking love this brush, but I have found a dupe for it from this by Sonia Kashuk that's about like $10 cheaper. So if you need a little bit of a cheaper option, you can certainly do that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same motion with my finger, but instead I'll be using the brush, obviously, and I'm gonna just go ahead and tap and blend. So hopefully you can see me tap and blend. Alright, so that is my under eye concealer. It is incredibly full coverage. I absolutely love it. And as you guys can see, I just added like 2 tiny like taps of the concealer underneath my eyes, and it covered my under eye area adequately. Like, I feel like sometimes I watch a lot of the YouTube, like not YouTube, I think Instagram. It's more like Instagram videos where they just really pile it on, that concealer, and I just find that to be unrealistic, because in real life, that's way too much. And you also have to remember that underneath your eyes, the skin is very delicate. So it's not gonna be like the rest of your face where you can like pile on a bunch of makeup. I mean, you still can pile on a bunch of makeup, but you have to add like very small layers of different products, and that's how you're gonna get that flawless coverage that's not going to cake up on you, and it's not going to crease throughout the day. So that is my, you can leave it here, you know, you can leave this right here. It looks pretty bright. I'm just looking into my, my viewfinder, and it's actually like picking up some of that light that's coming in. So it actually looks very brightening and look very awake. But if you have picked up a concealer that's more of your skin tone, that's gonna match your skin tone better, that's not as brightening, and you want that awakened look, like, you know, like fresh face, just woke up, fresh face type look, then you're gonna wanna use a brightening concealer. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this is in the shade Sable, and this is the perfect, I'm telling you guys, perfect brightening under eye concealer. It is quite hydrating, very lightweight, such a great layering concealer. And it's a great brightening concealer. I honestly will just go like that. I'll go along my nose, and you can leave it like that, and that's totally gonna give you that look. But I like to take it to the extra step and put a little bit of concealer on top of my nose, as well as I'm gonna put concealer on the center of my face to give you that more awakened look. Like I had 8 hours of sleep look. You know what I mean? I always like to add just a tiny bit of concealer at a time. People love to just pack it on, and you know, in the end, they do make it look really good, so I can't fully judge them. But seriously though, I don't know how they do it. The next step will be to set your under eye area. You never want to leave this by itself. You always want to set it with a good powder. And my favorite powder to use is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. You want to set this with a powder so that it will last all day, it will not move, and it will prevent it from creasing. And you want to set this with a setting powder. You want to use a Real Techniques setting powder brush. This is seriously the best brush ever. Has a nice little pointed tip so it can get into the very inner corner of your eye and just allow you to set your concealer really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I will take this and I'm gonna pat it in. I always push this powder in, especially in the inner part of my eye, because that is where it tends to crease a lot for me, because that's where my fine lines tend to be. That's where they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that. Feel like how close you can get to the inner corner without hurting yourself. That is what it's good for. Boom, done. That is how I do it. Of course, this video is probably gonna be like 10 minutes long of me explaining everything, and that's because I'm explaining everything. When I'm doing this on a regular basis, which is every single day, it does not take me that long. This concludes my full coverage under eye concealer routine. I hope you guys found this helpful. This has been, well, like I said, I've been using these same products for over a year now. The only thing that's really relatively brand new is the Tarte concealer, but I do tend to switch out my concealers throughout just because I'm always trying new concealers. But I think this one is gonna be my new ride or die. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, that is it. That is my technique. I hope you guys found it very helpful and useful. I hope that you guys can use this yourself, and I know you might think it's a little intense and extensive actually, because it is a few, you know, it's not just one step does it all. It does take a few steps, but hey, if you want full coverage underneath your eyes, flawless under eye coverage, then trust me, girl, you're gonna wanna do these extra steps, because that is the only way that I have done that actually gives me that full coverage under eye concealer awesomeness that I freaking love. So thank you guys so much for watching and for tuning in. If you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.